It's certainly the objective of many telcos to move to a more techco model. And one of the main reasons for that is all to do with business growth. So telcos are investing heavily right now in technologies like 5G and fiber build-outs and moving everything to cloud. But what we're finding is that the return on those investments are actually quite slow. And if you compare that with, some of the real tech companies right now, like Apple and Google and Amazon, they're making huge amounts of growth over the last 5 to 10 years. So it's really, imperative. And basically what Netcracker is doing is we're helping service providers make that transformation to techcos in a few different ways. So first of all, it's all about accelerating the modernization of the IT environment, because the IT environment is actually, the keys to business growth. So that means, for example, moving software to cloud, not just telco cloud, but also public cloud. It also means offering the software as a service. So it's a very different model from before, and keeping that software up to date all the time. And it also means automating every part of the business, the operational domains of the network, all the way through to the business and the customer-facing layers as well, and bringing data and analytics across the business to make really good decisions. So the second thing we're doing, though, is helping them innovate more, because this is really important for being a techco, and likely they'll bring in their own software developers, and we want to help them be able to differentiate their offers in the market better by basically bringing the tools and capabilities so we can co-develop, and they can even do their own configurations and develop their own code that will help them differentiate in different ways in their market. And a third key area relates to partners, because any growth strategy for telcos will really be with partners. So we're helping them work in different ways, for example, self-onboard, help the partners self-onboard, through to being able to manage the whole life cycle of the partner, be able to bring in different flexible business models to do things like revenue sharing effectively, and also allow the partners to get visibility over their services. And the fourth key area is really some telcos are moving into a different business model altogether, where they're actually splitting off their network infrastructure from the services and retail arm. So we call that the netco serveco split. So we're also helping there to make sure that the IT environment for the netco or the serveco is very specific to their particular needs, including both the BSS and the OSS aspects that are needed for whether it's a wholesale business or a true services business. So that's another key area we're doing. So when service providers become more techco-like, there's a number of things that they'll be able to do that is much more difficult today. So first of all, it's how can they leverage their connectivity business but add value on top of that? And we can do that in many different ways, whether it's the B2B or B2C market, effectively by bringing new services and capabilities for that market that typically will come from partners. So it's bundling those services with the connectivity and offering deeper value to those different segments. But what we're also looking to do is not just bundle services, but in the future actually help service providers sell a service where the connectivity is just a seamless part of the experience. So you sell an experience or a service, and the right type of connectivity, for example, if it included a slice that's needed for low latency, that would automatically be provided. So that's a sort of next future we're looking into as well. So that's one key area. Another key area relates to making the network and the IT layer available as a platform, so that other customers and partners and even developers can leverage that technology in their own services. So this is the arm where the service provider is not the retail provider anymore, but they're offering their capabilities to others to use. And that can be IT as a service, it can be things like Slice as a service, it could also be the data. The telco has such valuable data that others can use when it's anonymized and used in different ways across different industries. So that's a second area. And the third area really is where service providers can maybe look at adjacent industries, not telco, where they can perhaps disrupt those industries, just like some are coming in and disrupting telecoms. Good example of that is in the fintech industry, where service providers have a lot of great capabilities in terms of knowledge of the customer and the great customer base that can help them get into that market and provide those services and really disrupt in that area. Now, underlying all that, you want a very common IT infrastructure rather than setting up silos for those different businesses. So in all these cases, again, it's down to having the right lean, agile IT environment that can help you in any of those growth strategies. So a number of service providers are deciding to split up their business into the netco business and the serveco business. This definitely makes sense for some customers in some markets. We don't think it's necessary to do that to be a techco because it really depends on the market conditions. But actually what we are seeing is a general trend where even if this infrastructure business is not split off from the main business, it's actually maybe done internally that way, and it's done internally more for efficiency purposes. So we're seeing that in several service providers where they're making their infrastructure business common and aligned across all the different business units with a common open API layer and exchange of information across those APIs in a very uniform way. And same for the serveco business where they're able to get the assets that they need from the network. So I think whether it's for business efficiency reasons or whether it's for more valuation reasons that the business makes sense to split, there'll be different market conditions that dictate which one makes more sense.